Yo, welcome back to another episode of On the Spot Sports. I'm Jack, and today's episode we are joined by a very special guest, current professional hockey goaltender Daniel Klaybor. Daniel played 5 years of ACHA Division III college hockey, 1 year with Indiana Tech before transferring to Trine University for 4 years, and before he turned pro, and then he turned pro after that season with the Gaylord Snow in the Michigan Independence Hockey League, where he spent the last 2.5 year, two full seasons with the Gaylord Snow in the MIHL and the Michigan Independence Hockey League. And he's looking to go up to the Federal Prospects Hockey League or the Southern Professional Hockey League this season. So I'm really excited to join the journey with Daniel, with a good buddy of mine. So it's gonna be a really exciting episode. So welcome to the show, Daniel Klaybor.
Thanks for having me, Jack. I appreciate it, man. I always enjoy playing against you, and I'm glad we became good friends over the year this year once we met in Motor City during that camp back in last August. So it was a pleasure meeting you, and I'm glad we've become good friends, and hopefully we can find a spot in the higher levels coming up this year.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a blast getting to know you and getting to play against you this season
Yep.
and competing against you in the Motor City camp. But like, let's start off with like all of that, like with professional hockey first. So you grew up in South Bend, Indiana, and then you went through
Yep.
Indiana Tech and Trine University, like we said earlier, and then you found your spot with the Gaylord Snow in the mill in the Michigan Independence Hockey League. So what was this season like for you? I know it was your last year in Gaylord with the snow, so like what was this season like for you?
Yeah. I mean, at the last year, my rookie season, that was pretty fun. Hold my own in net. But I knew at the beginning of the year, right after that Motor City camp, I was still waiting to hear if I made the team or not. And then I didn't make the team, unfortunately. But I took it in a way that I wasn't disappointed. I was like, hey, like I went out there, did my best, gave 110%, and just dialed into like that first game. I remember we were in Muskegon, and we just had a short bench. We were outshot. I think we ended up losing. It was like 6-0, but gave up like 4 goals on like 50 shots, and it was just crazy. It made me feel good that I was like you know what, like help my team in the games, and that was the key. The whole move up, who's going to get or whatever. I just got to battle for my team and represent the organization that I played for, which was Gaylord. So it was a great organization to play for. It's helped me develop in many ways than more. It's just helped me develop as not only a goaltender, but involved in the community with coaching and helping out the community in multiple ways.
Yeah, so like obviously like you goalies and everyone goes through ups and downs throughout the season. So like what were some of those ups and downs throughout the season that you had to overcome, and like just what you had to learn from those experiences to overcome and develop your game even further?
Yeah, I think really the first part of the year was a little bit rough for me. Just getting to know the team. We had a lot of new players, a lot of new skill that we had. The league's growing, which is fantastic. I think it's awesome. We're getting recognized all over the country. Uh, so that helps the league too. So it's kind of like you got different shooters. You have to adapt to who's out there. If they're righty, lefty as a goalie, you know that. Like you got to watch what they're doing. And there's some guys in this league that they're really good. But I think just when I did have my ups, I should say downs first. I think just sitting back and reflecting on the game was the biggest part. Watching video, thinking about, okay, what can I do to be better the next shot, and also not worrying about the goal. Like that was one thing that really helped me out this year was don't focus on the last goal, just focus on the next shot. Be a competitor, compete. It doesn't matter if it was 2-0 or it was 10-0. I was still in there competing for my team, and that's who I am. Just got to be a competitor no matter what the score is. And as far as the ups, I think doing that at the end of the year. I mean, when we played against you guys in Port Huron, you guys outshot us completely. I mean, it was like 52 to like 36, and we still won. I mean, yeah, 7-5, but those 5 goals. I mean, it was just an onslaught of shots in the third period, backdoor. Um, goals. But I mean, you live and learn from that. And then I think that really helped me get into the playoffs and play game one. And I think I was credited with game one against Muskegon. We won 5-3. But I think really the progression of the year helped me out a lot with those downs. And then it turned to ups and continued into the playoffs.
Yeah, and like I think that's like one of the biggest things about being like a successful goaltender is not letting those goals get to you. Like even if it's a goal that is a very soft goal to give up, like to just treat the next shot how you would treat any other shot if it was 0-0. Because like I definitely had those struggles like couple years back where I'd be like thinking about the goal that I just gave up, and then what do you think's gonna happen the next shot? It's probably gonna go in. So yeah, but that was one of the biggest things that I learned this year was just to not worry about like the goals you give up, because like once you start worrying about the goals you give up, and that affects how you play the next puck, the next shot, that affects like how you play throughout the season. Because if you reflect like on that shot throughout that game, like you're gonna get lit up no matter what. So like I think my biggest thing was just take a sip of water, relax, go to the corner,
Yep.
do a circle, and then get back to my net and say one shot, one save, and get the next shot.
Exactly. Yeah. I know you skate away. How I look at it is I always teach my goalies that I coach up there, and I always say, if I get scored on, get a drink. I actually stay in the net. I do not leave the net on purpose, because I'm showing my team like I'm not gonna skate off and be like, oh man, this is like, everybody's different. But the way I
Yeah.
look at it is like I'm gonna stay in the net because I'm ready for the next shot. Like I get a sip of water, sit there in my cross position. I'm like, let's go. Like let's get the game going again. Like nothing's gonna, affect me. And I think that really excited the team. I know a couple of my teammates that come up to me like, hey man, you're fine. And I'm like, I know.
I know. I
I
know.
know.
I got
I
this.
know. I know. And they just laugh at me. And I'm like, that's part of the game. Like you got to have fun.
Yeah.
You know, as a goalie, you're going to get scored on. There's going to be some nights where you get a shutout. There's going to be some nights where you give up really bad goals. It's how you come back and how you compete.
Yeah. If guys start chirping you after they score a goal, just smile and laugh at them, and then they'll get thrown off that way. Like, this guy's not rattled. Like, nope, not at all. Like, just gonna continue playing my
Yeah,
game.
I know that happened a lot this year where it wasn't your team, it was Muskegon. I know a lot of guys on there. I mean, one of my really good friends is on Muskegon. We played in college together. And he told me, he's like, dude, our team, like they just don't understand you. Like, why do you not get rattled? How do you give up a goal? I'm just like, I mean, you played me in college, man. I do not care. Like, we're just gonna get to the next shot. We're gonna continue going. And they'll say stuff. And like there's sometimes where it's really funny what they'll say, like, we're coming for you, or like what a goal, you sieve or whatever. And it's just like that's all you got, like.
Come on, come up with something
So
better.
yeah, come up with something better, man. Like what's going on? But that's the love of the game. People get excited after a goal or something. And of course, to chirp the goalie is just insult to injury. And but there's some goalies out there that they go crazy if you do that. But I think you and I are pretty much mellow, and we don't really care.
No, not at all. It's one of our strengths to both of our games that don't really let anything get to us. And like if something does in like a brief case, we just get past it and then move on. Like we're not dwelling on anything in the past.
No, nope, nope. And I don't even think I think when there's like a skirmish going on in front, I just skate away and just laugh.
Yeah.
It's like all right. I know this season there was one time where one of my buddies I played with in college at Indiana Tech sprayed me in the face, and my team just goes nuts. And I looked at him and I'm like, a couple their team was like, yeah, he's just an idiot, man. I'm like, yeah, I know. Like I know. And then I looked at him, and he was talking, and I said, well, I appreciate the cool down. I mean, that was nice. Like,
You're
so
just you're just giving the chirp back, but quietly.
yeah. Yep.
Yeah, but something else I've learned throughout coaching is like a lot of like goalies like will get upset even at practice. Like if they give up a goal, like they'll get upset and then they'll get in their head. It's like what do you tell your goalies like when you're coaching like at practice, or like if they give up a goal in a game, like what do you tell them to just do to
Uh,
help calm them down?
yeah, I mean, in practice, like one of my goalies I did coach up north for the Petoskey High School team. He get upset, but he's a quiet kid too. It takes a lot for him
Yeah.
to get really, really upset, which is good. I like that because then he just focused, he's dialed in. But I mean, there's some time in practice where you get upset. I'm like, it's practice, man. The only thing I want you getting upset about is that you did give it up, but be more competitive. I mean, that
Yeah.
for me, when I'm in practice, my teammates know like it's going to be a pain in the butt to score because I'm not going to give you because if I'm not going to go my hardest in practice, then in a game you're just going to shoot and the goalie's going to make a great save. If I'm not trying, I'm trying to mimic that game situation too.
Yeah.
So I think just you can get upset, but get upset at the right thing. Don't get upset like, oh, I suck. Like
Yeah.
get upset saying that's never going to happen again. Let's go. Like bring the next shot, and that's how I approach it, and that's how I tell them too, and it's worked out pretty good for them. So I'm happy.
Yeah, and that's like some of the things that I tell like my goalies too is just what you just said, and then like I'd much rather you give up a goal in practice than in a game. So the fact that you
Yep.
give it up
Yep.
in practice is a way better option than giving up a goal or a bad goal in a game where it's either you win or you lose. Maybe it's sudden death overtime and you give up that goal. I'd rather
Yep.
give it up in practice than give it up in an actual game. And we could work on that and just do like rep after rep to get you ready for that game action.
Yeah, I agree too. I mean, I'm sure you give up goals in practice, and like there's some days where I'm like, man, I have a really good practice, or some days I'm like, what is not working? But you have to figure it out.
Yeah.
That's part of the game. Like, I mean, I'm not the tallest goalie in the world, so sometimes it has to do with depth. Sometimes it has to do with just an inch difference in its positioning. So fine tuning those kind of things with the depth and positioning, you'll be all right. So
Yeah, exactly how I look at it. But like going back to Gaylord a little bit this season, like what has been like some of your favorite memories from this season or the past seasons that you spent with Gaylord?
I mean, yeah, there's been there's a ton of memories. I mean, that's where I spent my first 2 years playing semi-pro hockey. So I mean, I'm very honored and blessed to been able to do that, especially when I was at college and uh before I got right to Gaylord. I remember I got my new goalie pads in, and a couple teammates knew, and it was immediately right after senior night. I brought him in. We had a skate on Monday, and everyone's like, "What is Klaybor doing? What is this guy doing?" And like, "Oh, you're doing like a men's league skate." I'm like, "I'm not buying new goalie pads to play men's league, man. Like, no way." And then I told them, and they were like, "Dude, that's awesome. Like, you're gonna go play." They're like, "Well, when are you going to play?" I'm like, "I leave Wednesday." And they were like, "Oh," like so it went from senior night of what was that, 2020 or 2021, and Miles, our head coach, gave me a shout, and he's like, "Hey, like, I need you to get up here, like, ASAP." And I was like, "Okay." And I remember I was skating at Trine University. Left Wednesday. I was probably up in Gaylord for a good week, right before finals too. So a lot of my plate there, but that was the coolest memory too. It's just like the feeling of like you did something that nobody probably thought was possible.
Yeah.
Being 5'6", 5'7" that I am, I'm not the tallest goalie in the world. So to be able to enjoy still playing the game, make a little bit, of course, but at the same time, just feeling that inside, like it meant a lot to me that I've accomplished a goal that was a far stretch. But in Gaylord, there was a couple memories. I know my first one was we beat Alpena, which turned into your team now in Port Huron. They moved, but yeah, we outplayed and we dominated them. That was my first ever start, and unfortunately, I lost the shutout with like 19 seconds to go in the game.
Oh,
And I mean, it was all right. It's a reality. Like, hey, man, you enjoyed it. And I think that was a really good boost for myself, like in confidence too, just to be in there, almost get a shot on your first start. Like that was awesome. I think going back to the second year too was also beating Muskegon at home. They were undefeated. Last year's team was really good in Muskegon. They ended up winning, which is good for them. They've won
Yeah.
3 in a row now, which is unbelievable. It's unbelievable what they've done there. But yeah, no, they came into our place. They thought they were gonna roll all over us. And I remember my goalie partner got hurt in Muskegon the week before, and I had to go in, and I didn't do the greatest when I went in, but I mean, we ended up just losing really bad, and it
Yeah.
really, back to what we said earlier, it really motivated you, pissed off a little bit, and they came into our building, and remember we were down like 2-0, and I was like, all right, this is ridiculous. Like let's just go. I know we got outshot, but then we ended up winning 5-4. We beat their unbeaten streak. Like we knocked them off, and it was awesome. And then just rode that confidence. Played a couple more games, and then I won my first ever playoff win against Waterford in the first round, and we ended up losing that series. But I mean, I look back, and those were a lot of fun memories. And then this season, I'm gonna have to say probably the another memory was beating Waterford this season. They were on a roll in the first half. I mean, they were in first place,
Yeah.
and then the second half they were really good. I think they just lost to Muskegon, but it was almost about 50 shots on net, and they were just coming at me the whole night. And, just shut the door down, gave my team a chance to win. That night, I got assist, so that was pretty cool. My first ever point in the MIHL. So
There we go. But yeah, like it's like
yeah, so
those were just unreal memories, and just especially like when you get like your first win, first playoff win, like those are
yep,
like the most exciting parts. Like just to get just like this season to get my first win in the wild card game to have us move on to the semis to the against Waterford, like that was probably the most like my favorite memory, as well as the game against Muskegon when faced 75 shots that night and brought it to a shootout, and they were I think they're like 38-0-1 or something like that in like at home at that point. So like just to be able to give them a run for their money, and like how that organization's ran like really well and everything. So
yep.
just to be able to do that, and then just to get that win out of the way of the MIHL, like those are the memories that are going to last you for forever.
Yep, yep, and you feel better about it. You're like, "Hey, like, I won that game," and it makes you feel confident. You go into the next game, and I know you guys end up losing, but I heard you played pretty well in that game. You gave your team a chance to win, in that series. So, I mean, that's all you can do. You gotta every night, you gotta give your team a chance to win. If you're not gonna give them a chance to win, then it may be a shootout of, like, 8-7,
Yeah.
So, you don't want a high scoring game and, rack up the, goals against there, so
Yeah, exactly. But like it was just I knew that I was facing a lot of rubber every single night, no matter who I was playing against. So like I was just go in there, compete, battle, and give my team a chance to win, because that's all I really care about. Is like obviously I want to win, and the wins are the most important, but just to give the boys a chance to win, like that's another important part, that just especially
Yep.
on a like in a season like we were having, like just give the guys a chance to win. Like that's all that mattered really.
Yeah, at the end of the night, you gotta get points, and, like, this league, I remember the first year, it was, like, 3 or 4 teams in the league. It wasn't what it is now,
Yeah.
and then last year, you can see the growth. I mean, Waterford wasn't really good the first year. The second year, they got better. You guys got better at the end of the year. I mean, we maybe even Hazel Park, I didn't see them at the end of the year, but I think they even got better too. So, I mean, just the growth of the league is really important. So,
Yeah, and just like the talent and everything throughout the league as well, especially this year, like you were seeing guys that had FPHL experience, SPHL experience, AHL
yep.
experience, and like even like a bunch of overseas experience. Like you're getting high quality players that are really like making the league even better, and like it's just good to face guys like that on a night to night basis. But
Yeah, you have to.
yeah, you really do. But you like as like I face like 60, 70 shots a night this season a lot. So like and you face 40, 50 shots as well. You face a lot of rubber as well. So like what goes into like your game to game routine to help you be prepared to face all these shots?
Yeah. I think we'll start with year one, then we'll go to year two because there's a lot of things that I did that to change my mindset and my body as well. I think in year one, I was more focused about making like the first save, being more in position because I didn't know the shooters. I didn't know who was even in this league. I didn't know anybody. So now you come into year two and you're like, okay, so if it's a lefty, you know where they're going. A righty, you know where they're going. And that's kudos to my goalie coach. He's really helped me out a lot this year. When he's had time to get on the ice with me and develop my game. And I think a lot of it too this year, I worked a lot. It's gonna sound really crazy. I didn't want to see pucks. I knew I was gonna see 50 shots in a game. I didn't want to see any pucks in practice. And I just want to work on skating. I wanted to. That's the one thing that I thought I was really weak at was skating, working on my edge work, which I'm not the greatest still yet, but just knowing what I have to work on, that's a key thing as a
Yeah.
goaltender. Because if you're just gonna go to the rink and say, yeah, I'm good, like then you're not gonna get any better. There's gonna be someone behind you that's gonna. So I mean, I think this year especially was just focusing in on you know rebound control, following the shots even more, exaggerating more a little bit, like gliding to them.
Yeah.
Also, not giving up so many rebounds too. Like if I am giving up that first rebound and the second and third, push to where they're going. Like I mean, given a great attempt to get over there and make a save. I mean, there was a couple saves this year where probably shouldn't have made, but because of development in practice that I had, it led to the games and it just kept letting to the games and kept letting. I mean, if I didn't work on some things, I think the game against you guys probably would have got out of hand. I think the game of Muskegon in game one would have got out of hand. But when I saw almost 100 shots in 2 games at the end of the year, that was, it was wear and tear. I mean, but the thing is, worked out a lot, got my body in shape, really focused in on a really good nutritious plan too as well, not eating, bad foods, really
Yeah.
staying in shape. I mean, since January, I've put on at least 10 pounds, looking really great. I feel great, feel healthy, running a little bit more, getting that cardio up. And I think that translated into the games too.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. You just got to do whatever you do, whatever you can to keep your body at optimal, like playing shape. Because throughout the season, when you're facing like a lot of shots like that, it does wear and tear on your body. But like if you're
yeah.
in shape and everything, you're treating your body right, like you can be able to handle that every single night. And like so like when you are like after games, like when you're recovering, like what are some things you do to help you get that optimal like recovery?
Yeah, after games, a lot of the times, when I was getting back to my apartment up in Petoskey, Michigan, I would just, you know, go on the ground, lay down, stretch out, use the massage gun, just relax those muscles. And
Yeah.
especially in the playoffs, I was just really focused on taking care of myself. And but every practice, every game, I would come back to either my apartment or sit hockey out in Gaylord, and I would do a lot of stretches right before I to make sure that I'm ready for practice or ready for the game the next day. And I think that was a really a big change that I did, and I saw a lot of improvement because even in college, I was like, "Oh, I'm young, like I'll just,
Yeah.
go to the next
You're
game and
not young
practice." But
forever.
stretching is such a no, no, and stretching is such an important part of the game, and I really focused in on that this season, and I noticed I got a little bit more flexible, moving side to side even faster, getting to point A to point B quicker, and I think it all stems to just making sure, like I said, nutrition plan, working out at least 2 to 3 times a week, letting Thursday and Friday kind of rest, practice on the weekend, and then play a game on the weekend as well, and then recovery, obviously, stretching, using the massage gun, and then also my favorite is going with the chocolate milk after the game. So that's always the recovery move right there.
Prime recovery drink right there.
Oh, it's one of the best, man. I told you that when we were talking in Port Huron. I was like, "Yep, I gotta have my chocolate milk." So
Yeah, I remember those days after the games when like before I go to the hotel, just go to the local gas station, get like two or three like of the chocolate milk,
Yeah.
even like the protein chocolate milks, and just drink those throughout the night, and then your body feels a lot better the next day.
I'll tell you, it's so refreshing. It's like unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. I mean, like I'll probably get after every practice and game, I get about two, and then I'll get like a granola bar too. That's like a healthy one, and I'll just eat that. And it's pretty much like all I eat like right after. I don't really like to eat a lot of food right after practice, especially
Yeah,
when our practices were so late at night. I'm like, I'm not gonna go get a burger or something at like 11:30, and then get
yeah.
back up to practice in the morning. I'll just stick with this, and I felt good in the morning too. So
Yeah, so we both attended the Motor City Rockers free agent camp in August of last year. And like it was a great experience for me. It was a great experience for you. So like what were some of the things you learned from that experience?
yeah, I think it was great to meet you there and meet a lot of people. Like, met a lot of friends that were there. I got some connections to some players that are playing in the FPHL, the SPHL, some overseas now too. So it's really cool to meet those people and be involved in the hockey community, growing it throughout the country, meeting new friends. But I think the one biggest thing was a little bit of the speed and the way that they want things done, the way um, we had a goalie coach that was out there too, and he was a really great help. Talked to both you
Yeah.
and I just about little things, and I think us two especially. I know there was another goalie, I can't name his name, that was out there, but I know we really honed in on what he was saying, and I think us three being on the ice out there were probably the best. Um, but I do think you and I were up there for sure. I just think what I learned from there too at the same time is just the speed of the game. There are some guys out there, they could shoot the puck, they could
Yeah.
place it. Just really positioning. I think it had nothing to do with my speed. I know I made a couple great saves. They're all applauding me, which is great. But it's really about positioning because some of those guys could place the puck. And I mean, we have that in the MIHL too, but these guys have been playing in the Fed for a couple of years. They're playing the SP. They're trying to make Motor City at that time. And I mean, yeah, I think it was just me, was just my positioning was not a little bit off. It was just, I noticed a couple goals I gave up, like just during a little practice run. And I'm like, it's just trying to fine tune those things.
Yeah.
You can always improve yourself, but I think the speed and positioning at Motor City was the two biggest things I learned. I have really honed in on those this season.
Yeah, I think like the way that everything was set up there and everything was great. Like the practices were really well ran. Like we got our own goalie coach in there as well. So like there's
Yep.
nothing you can do. Like shout out Coach Bill, like beauty, a legend, NHL E-Bug legend as well. So like it was just great to just learn from him and like just be able to experience all that, the practices, the games, just building connections with everyone. Like it does go far, it does go a long way in the professional hockey world when you do have those connections and you could build it based on the camps you go to.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, building those. I mean, look at you and I. We've been in touch since that. We just talk to each other. I mean, you came in the MIHL, you're asking me questions, and I helped you out a little bit, trying to get you a spot anywhere that I could. And I'm glad you found a home in Port Huron, and I'm glad you helped them out. And then for me, I just returned back to my team that I played with last year, and I was thankful that the organization let me come back and play. And I gave them my all that I had this year. Unfortunately, we came up short of a ring, but I know that I've improved as a person and a goaltender as well, and that's all you can ask in life. If you're always improving, improve on yourself, and you don't want to go the other way. You always want to go up. So continue to go up, and you and I want to go up to the next level. So we just got to put the time and effort into it. And I know you will, I know I will, and I know we'll push each other to be better. So that's a good friendship right there.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. And like it was just like we both will give everything we have to a practice, a game, a season. Like whenever we're out on the ice, we're giving it our all, no matter how we're feeling that day. Like, we're going to give 110%. And I know that we'll both be up in the higher leagues this season and we'll just continue working up the ranks as well.
Yep, exactly, man. We got to, we have the confidence. We got everything that we need. We just gotta do it. We can't talk about it forever. You gotta want to do it and get it done and over with and get that weight off the shoulder and excited and and get going with the new club. So yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. It's the best game in the world. Just want to get to as high as I can. You want to get to as high as you can, and
yep,
we're gonna do that. Absolutely.
exactly.
Yeah, but let's move on to your college career a little bit here. So you spent 5 years playing ACHA college hockey, one with
Yep.
Indiana Tech before moving on to Trine. It's like what was your 5 years of college hockey like overall?
I mean, it was awesome. Like I said, I got to meet a lot of teammates. I'm still in touch with a lot of them. I think my time. So I played for John Adams High School in South Bend, Indiana. So represent the Eagles. That's my alumni here. But when I was a senior, I really didn't know what I was going to do in life. Like I didn't know what I wanted to go study. I didn't know what I was going to go do for hockey. And I was also playing baseball at the same time. So I had to really pick between a sport, and I chose hockey. And during the process, I almost went to Grand Valley State University up in Grand Rapids. And I love the facility that they had there. I love the hockey and the campus was just awesome. But I already got accepted into Indiana Tech and already committed.
Oh,
So my parents talked to me and was like, hey, like, you don't do that kind of stuff. Don't do that. We see kids decommit all over the country. And it's kind of like, why are you decommitting? What's going on? And my family was just like, you know what? See how this goes. If you don't like it, transfer. And so I went to Indiana Tech. I was third string right away on the ACHA D3. I got my first ever start. I believe it was against, I believe it was Ball State, and beat one of my old high school teammates on Ball State. So that was pretty funny to play against him. And actually, unfortunately, that school does not have a hockey team anymore. They see that team go. But then I started just working my butt off at Indiana Tech. There was two teams, so I practiced with the ACCA D3 team, sometime D1, but it was very, very small times I ever did that. Uh, but then just kept working, and then became a backup, like the second string, and then I know I played a couple games in a row. I was like, well, I guess I'm the number one guy for a little bit here. But then, as a freshman, kind of stepping up in those big roles that I had to. I've only played like 5 or 6 games, but still, I mean, just stepping up when the team needed me the most, that was key there. And then I just kind of looked at it. I was like, well, like, do I see myself here? And unfortunately, I didn't. And so I transferred, and it was probably one of the best things in my life I ever did was go to Trine University, and they offered me everything. I mean, it was open arms. I remember I was talking to Dan Mays, who is not there anymore. Now he's coaching out in Pittsburgh. I was talking to Ian Edwards. He used to play in the ECHL, SP. So those guys really opened me, showed me how Trine really is, and the way that they told me right off the rip was, hey, like, if you get injured, is this where you see yourself being? And it was such a weird thing to think about that. Like, like, is like, if you get injured, is this a place where you want to be? And I fell in love with the campus like right away. Like the people there are awesome. My alumni that I still talk to this day are phenomenal. Everyone's got a job, everyone's working, which is great. We still stay in touch. And there's a couple guys that there's at least 5 to 6 of us that play pro hockey from Trine. I mean, we just started in what was that, 2018, 19 season. So it was just an honor to play there. The facility is amazing. If you ever get a chance, man, definitely stop into Trine University. It's definitely a amazing rink. They got an NCAA Division III team there. They got a girls team, 2 ACHA teams. But yeah, during my time at Trine, I was on the ACHA D3 team. I went to camp there, and it was trying out for NCAA Division III. So right off the rip, when I got to campus, it was, you're not just trying out for ACHA, you're trying out for the NCAA team. So like there were some guys there that were they were older than me. I'm like, I've never dealt with this before. Like they just aged out of juniors. There's a couple guys there that just transferred from another D3 school. So we all didn't know where we were going to play. Everyone wanted to play in the D3 team. Personally, I just wanted to be on the D2 or ACHA D3 team just because I know that's where I played last year. So that's where I figured I would be. And the first year went really well with the D3 team. I played with some kids from South Bend. We had some kids from, there's one guy who was from Finland. There was another couple guys from like Sweden, Florida. So, I mean, we all had people from all over. And then the second year, I remember was the year that I almost made the jump to the D2 team just because we had so many goalies get injured. I mean, it was crazy. They were just getting injured left and right. And I'm like, what's going on, man? But the cool thing is at Shrine, that I will say, like the last 3 years that I was there, I was always needed in so many ways than one, not just starting goalie, not just practicing with my team. It was, hey, the D2 team needs you to practice because they don't have any goalies tonight. So there was goalies actually doing studying or they were injured, like I said. So I was the only goalie sometime there. And then it came, I think, the second year, one of the goalies transferred from the D3 team. The D2 team sent a couple goalies to practice and they pulled a groin, they got hurt, they got a concussion. So the coach is like, no, we're not doing this anymore. And I had to go up to the D3 team and practice. And I remember like what happened. One of their starting goalies was he got like injured during like the week and they needed him not to see any shots. And I went there with the backup that was there. And I'm like, is this guy gonna play or am I gonna have to like dress for like the D3? Like, am I gonna have to dress? Like, because I'm talking to the guys like during the day and I'm like, well, I can't dress because I'm starting Friday for my ACHA D3 team. So we were just talking about it and I'm like, I have no idea what's going on. And then the goalie did end up playing, the guy that got hurt. So, and I think they won, which was awesome. And then we ended up winning. So just going through that during that 1 week at school and studying and working in the area, just you have a lot on your mind. And I really focused in on things that were important. And yeah, but no, time at Trine, man, was awesome. It was one of the best experiences. It got me with the great job that I do now on the side, and then it's also got me to the professional ranks. I mean, without Trine University, I couldn't be where I'm at right now. So
So like you were bouncing around from the D3 team, the D2 team, the NCAA team, and I liked how you said like you had to find like the ability to stay focused and dialed on like the important things. It's like what were the most important things that you learned throughout that time when you're bouncing around and you got to find what's important to you?
I think number one was sleep. Number one was getting my sleep, man. I mean, the ACHA D3 team, we practice at 6 a.m. in the morning. I'm not a morning person for one. I can't really stand in the morning. I'm a night owl. So it was funny. I would skate at 6 a.m. and we'd get like 40 minutes after practice. And I always stayed out, always made sure that we were doing drills. The coaches weren't there. So
Yeah.
that was one thing I know that everyone loved that I did, that I would, you know, you have your starting goalie who's standing out there on the ice just waiting to see more shots. Are you crazy? Like
He just wants to
I
eat the
wanted to be ready
pucks.
for games. Yeah, I just wanted to eat the pucks, man. It was crazy. Like I would always stay on the ice. I'd always ask the Zamboni people that were there at Trine University. God bless what they do, man. They're awesome people that work there. They do a great job at that facility. And I would always ask them, like, can I get 10 more minutes? Can I get 15? And they know it's not just a mess around
Yeah.
mess around time. Like it was Claybor's out there working because he wants to win. And then it rolled on to my team. Like they knew that like I wanted to win. Like if we lose, it's not a good day because
Yeah.
I'll let you hear it. And but yeah, no, during that week it was just mainly getting sleep, staying on the ice. I even worked out, man, too. Like I was just working out. The D2 team I know had like workouts. I would ask them, hey, like, is it okay if I come and work out since we didn't have workouts like during the week? So I'd ask them and they were all for it. They're like, yeah, of course. Like they're not going to hold you back if you want to be better, which I loved about that. All those guys just wanted everybody in that university to be better. And then the D3 team, like they opened me with full arms when I had to, you know, come and practice. Like, oh boy, like who's this kid? Like, you know, like, and I held my own. So I mean, and those guys were really chill with me being there and helping them out, and the coaches too, like all the coaches there. Coach Todd, who's still there, he was really appreciative of me just showing up. Like, you know, like they don't have any goalies right now, so like thank you for showing up and battling and making my team better. You know, I'm not going to give you an easy goal. So that was important for me too, just to be out there and meet a couple more people on campus that those couple years and just know like, hey, so what? You're a practice goalie. Like you never know what's gonna happen. Like you never know.
Yes,
So yeah. So
just
I
about
mean
that
like
opportunity.
yeah, it's about that opportunity. Like you never know with us. Like, are we gonna get called up to a higher level team and make another higher level team? Like you just don't know those things. So just going through that week of that busy stretch that I had with like 3 games in a weekend, I was bouncing back. I had probably at least 15 practices that weekend that week.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was almost like I was doing 3 a day. I would skate with the ACHA D3 team at 6 a.m. Like I was saying, the D3 team was like from 1 to 3, and then the D2 team was like at 8 o'clock at night. So it was a lot of get your homework done when you can, and get your butt to the rink. And basically, I thought about even staying the night there. How long I was there for every day. So um, but yeah, and the staff there was great with me, developing my game, and kudos to all the coaches that are there. They're phenomenal people, and they love the game just as much as we do. And if anybody's trying to go to college, that's probably one of the best schools I would say to go to right there. So
Yeah, that's awesome right there, and everything you just said, and that's the thing that I like say all the time is that you never know when an opportunity is going to come, so you just got to stay ready, no matter what, whether that be like working out extra, skating extra, just taking
yep,
care of your body, doing like mobility, stretching, all that. You never know when the opportunity is going to come. Like I got called up to the SPHL this season.
exactly.
Like it was an opportunity that I probably wouldn't have guessed literally 2 days before that happened. Like I wouldn't have known that I was going to be in the SPHL the 2 days later, but it happened. And like I was also the practice goalie in the AHL this year for the Chicago Wolves, so it's like you never know what could happen. You just got to stay ready for
Yep.
literally anything that's possible.
Yeah, and you keep your options open. You keep that opportunity open. So just like us, like we don't really know where we're gonna land, but we keep our opportunities open, and whoever we're with, like we're just like you said earlier, we're just gonna give them our 110% effort, and that's all that they can ask from us.
Yeah, exactly. And like that's who we are. We're just willing to get better every single day, doing whatever it takes to get to that next level. And we're definitely going to be up in another league, another level this coming season. I truly believe that, and it's going to be fun to watch.
Yep, I think so too. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but you grew up in South Bend, Indiana. So like take us through what youth hockey was like growing up through South Bend and going into high school hockey as well.
Yeah, so a little backstory about me. So yeah, the hockey in South Bend has gotten better over the years. I remember so I used to play baseball. I wanted to go play. I wanted to be I was a catcher, and I wanted to play in the MLB. I wanted to be in the minor leagues. Like, that's what I wanted to do. But when I was 11 years old, I could not actually ice skate. I could not skate from until I was 11 years old. I didn't know how to ice skate. My dad was a Zamboni driver at Notre Dame University. So he was there for 35 years. So we bleed blue and gold, which is what's up. So, but no, I mean, yeah, I did not want to skate. So I was like 11. And then I was out there at this like learn to skate. And I'm like, you know what? This isn't for me. Let me just put the pads on and let me just be a psychopath and make it, it's the same thing as catching. And when we played street hockey, I'd always want to be the goalie.
Yeah.
I did not want to go down to the other side of the street and score. Like I just didn't want to. I was like, I'm just gonna block a shot. I don't know what it was about me. And then my first year ever playing youth hockey, we went undefeated for the regular season.
There we go.
Didn't lose a game,
Well,
but
what a
unfortunately
start.
lost in the championship.
Oh,
But yeah, yeah, what a start, man. I think it was like 14-0, and it was like squirts, and everyone's like, who the heck is this kid? And I'm like, I just started playing. They're like, unreal. And I think everyone's like, oh man, it's awesome. Like, but the youth hockey, there's a lot of options right now to get into youth hockey in the area, which is fantastic. But I remember growing up, I played Bantam, I played Pee Wee. I never played travel hockey, never did. My mom and dad, I mean, they do well. Like all of us do well. Is just the time and commitment. We just
yeah.
didn't have it. I was playing also another sport. I have a sister who played softball, had a brother who played hockey and baseball. So like, they're just they just couldn't we just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And every team was in Chicago or Detroit for travel, and I'm like, it's all right, but I took the long way around, is what I like to say. I have some buddies from South Bend. One guy plays in Newfoundland or whatever it's called, and then the other guy plays for the Marlies, and another kid in town here is drafted by the Blackhawks. So, I mean, there's only four of us that play pro hockey, if you want to call, you want to say that. But they obviously went to travel hockey. They went to Division 1, D3, and then there's me who just took the opposite way around. I didn't even do any travel, didn't do any juniors. I just went from IYHL, is what it's called here in South Bend, and I went to John Adams High School, which I'll get to in a sec. And then I went to Indiana Tech, Trine, and I made it to the pros with Gaylord. So I mean, I went a total different way from everybody. So, but I'm happy that I did that, and I mean that just shows like you battle through so much. Like
Yeah.
everyone's doing everything else, but you're focused on your path and how you can get there. And I think that was really key to me. And like I said earlier, I got a really good fan base, if you want to call it. I got my family here in South Bend. They've been awesome. I got great teammates every season that I play with. Great competitors like yourself, people that I play against, even Muskegon, or Waterford, all the teams in our league. Everyone's like, man, like really good. Like just keep working your butt off, like it'll pay off. And that motivates you. It's not like
Yeah.
you come into the rink and everyone's like, oh my god, like why is this guy here? Like, so. But when I was at John Adams, I know you were saying about my high school. My first year, I didn't really play a lot either. It's kind of like my Indiana Tech days. I didn't really play a lot, and my coach pulled me aside and was like, "Hey, like you are a good goalie. You're gonna be like the next guy coming in soon. But I'm gonna have you play Bantam, but I'm gonna have you play on the high school team." So I was playing two teams my freshman year,
Not
which was
not a
really
bad
cool.
not a
I
bad
kind of
gig.
no, I kind of felt like I was like, well, this is my NHL team is the high school. My AHL team is the Bantam hockey. So I was like, oh well, I'm getting called up, I'm getting sent down. Like there was one weekend where I did play two high school games. I played two Bantam games and I went 4-0, which was awesome. That was pretty cool. So but on the Bantam team though too, I didn't realize this, but I kind of like recruited some players to come play. There was a couple kids on that team that came to Adams the next year, so we became teammates after. And I felt a little bit old on the Bantam team just because I was in high school, but all the parents and all the coaches really opened me up. Just hey, like you're fine here, man. Like it's all right. Like you're
Yeah.
developing. And I think because my coach did that, that was one of the best things. Like a lot of people on my team, I remember a couple of goalies were haha making fun of me, but I was like, then all of a sudden it's all ha now, but they don't even play pro hockey. They didn't even go to college and play. So it's just like, whoever wants that race, you can be ahead, but don't let them catch up to you. And looking back at that now, it's like, who's laughing now kind of thing.
Yeah, that's a crazy story and everything because it's like I'm the same way. Didn't play juniors, didn't play college, and playing pro now. And like
Yep.
I played house league as like a forward all the way up until my senior year of high school as well. It's like just proves that if you really like have a passion and want to do something, just go for it because you never like I don't want to live my life with any regrets or anything like that. So I want to do anything I can
Yep.
to give myself the best chance to get to whatever that next level may be for what I want and what you want as well. So it's like if you have a goal set in mind, don't don't let anyone tell you you can't do it and just literally just put all the time and the effort into what you want to do and the sky's the limit. You never know what could happen.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, even go back to like my freshman year, just playing on that team for John Adams High School, and we actually won city and state for the first time since like 2003. So that was pretty cool to be on that team. And then my brother, who just graduated from John Adams, he was on the high school team. He didn't end up winning state, but he did win up. I think he won city twice. So a lot of Klaybor blood at the John
There
Adams
we go.
high school there too. And even my sister was playing softball and volleyball there too. So, yeah, but I mean that was a good time. And I think even in high school in Indiana, like it is a little bit different, especially up in Michigan. that where I've been living for the last 2 years, they do things a little bit different, of course. But in Indiana, I think it was the right thing to do by not leaving your team and going to play like AAA and juniors and representing my high school. Because a lot of kids in the area, they do go to like Chicago, they go to Detroit and play. And it's really hard to develop kids probably once they get to 14 to 20
Yeah.
at least. And to stay in the area. And the cool thing is in South Bend that I'll start be going to soon is like we do like a drop in on Thursday nights. And what's hard for me too is that I think I was telling you before, there's not any pro guys that go to it that are current. In
Yeah.
South Bend, it's more or less a football and a baseball town. A lot of kids go play. I mean, there's a couple kids that are from South Bend that play on Notre Dame right now for baseball. A lot of them are going to play in the minor leagues for baseball. There's not really any hockey. So for me, when I skate the ice boxes or rink, um, it's like, oh, well, it's a lot of guys that are a little bit older. They play juniors, or there's kids that don't play hockey anymore that are just doing it for fun. And so it's kind of like you get out there and you want to have fun at the same time, but also like I'm trying to be better too. So I think they enjoy it, and it's cool to see everybody growing up now and uh, just being out there with the boys. That's the fun part. I mean, we got kids here that went to John Adams, went to a couple other high schools in the
Yeah.
area that play for ACHA teams all over the country. There's a couple kids that play juniors. I mean, my biggest thing is, like go as long as you can, play hockey as long as you can, because you can always play men's league, but you can never, go back to your early 20s or early teens or late teens and do what you're doing now. So like a couple of those kids are playing juniors. I hope they go play college and go play pro because I think they're good enough to do it. It's just if they want it. And obviously there's other things than just playing pro hockey,
Yeah.
like at the end of the day, and at the end of the day, like we gotta have a job. I mean, the next 2, 3 levels that we could even play at, it's not gonna pay our bills. So but that's the beauty of the game because we love the game and that's why we play it. It's not about the money at a lot of the times.
Yeah, we both love the sport, and it's the best sport in the world, and I'm gonna do, and like it's been a part of my life, my entire life. So I want to play at the highest level I can. You want to play at the highest level you can, and like
Yep.
you're already like you want to play pro hockey. I want to play pro hockey since we're young, and we're at that level now. So it's just crazy to see like how things have gone since since that idea first popped in our mind, and like we're just working ourselves up the ranks for now.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and the good thing about my area is that people know that like you play. And I mean, I get text all the time. I got a buddy who reached out to me the other day. He's like, hey, can you come play in this tournament in the summer? And I'm like, well, we'll see what I got going on. And they all know like it's hard for me to get to the rink. I saw a couple
Yeah.
people here yesterday at our grad party that my brother had, and they were like, hey man, it's good to see you back. And everyone's like, it's good to see you back in the area. And I'm excited to get the ball rolling here with training too in South Bend. My buddy who I played with in college, Brendan Lambert, is a phenomenal guy. He's really helped the city of South Bend out a lot. He is the hockey operations guy at the Icebox. Does a lot for the kids. I've helped him with a camp over the winter time, and what he's going to do for the community and what he's going to do to develop these kids in the area is just it's going to grow, and that's what we want in the area too. And like we just said, like there's always other things than just playing pro hockey. And for him, he could definitely play in our league and higher, but he chose to develop the kids in the area and find a job in South Bend. And I think he's a great fit for the area too. And that's for me, especially when I'm done playing. Like I want to come back here and help the goalies out. I mean, we don't have a goalie coach in this area.
Yeah.
Like these kids struggle. Like I mean, there's a lot of times where you go to high school games, you're like, what is going on? Like what is the what's the problem here? Because I mean, and I've worked with Adams High School when my brother was playing. I worked with their goalies, and everyone's like, "Hey, man, like we want you to come back. We want you to come." And I'm like, "Well, I'm still playing right now, but I think at the end of the journey, when I'm done playing pro hockey, I think really giving back to the city, the community that I was born in. I think that means a lot to me, and I know it mean a lot to the area too to come back. And like I just said, like right now, everyone's like, "Hey, can you come coach?" And I just right now trying to figure out where I'm going to play next, and that's the step right now. So
Yeah, that's good stuff right there, and like good to help out the community that you were born in and that you developed throughout youth hockey and everything. Like that's something I want to do, and like something I do in the summer is just coach and help out the community, help out Illinois hockey a little bit with goalies and just because there definitely is, you go to these games and like what is going on, but like
yep,
I love just going there and just teaching these goalies like things I've learned throughout the journey so far, and like
yep.
if they really want to go pursue pro hockey like I'm doing right now, I'm their number one supporter, and I'm gonna do whatever I can to help them get to that level that we're both playing at.
Exactly, exactly. I mean, living up in Michigan for 2 years, and now coming back home to South Bend, I love it here, man. It's like, this is home. This is where I belong, and especially me and my family and friends. I mean, it makes you feel better, and then also, skating with a couple people that you grew up with too. That's also a lot of fun. But when I was in Petoskey, it was really interesting to see how the hockey community is, and up there, those people are crazy. They do love their hockey. And with me helping out in the community that I lived in Petoskey, meeting Fedorov, who's up there, who's got the Fedorov Academy. He does a great job, develops those kids just like a Brendan Lambert down here. And I appreciate him every day letting me use the facility to skate, to work out. He's got a state of the art facility there in Petoskey. If anybody's up that way, definitely check it out for sure. And but those families, they just really enjoyed coming to watch me play, coming to watch our team. I got to coach the Petoskey High School. I was up there. Those kids are phenomenal, and I hope they have a great season. It stinks I'm not going to be coaching with them this coming year, but I know they're going to do well. They're great kids, and they would come support us. They would come to our games. They'd be loud. They'd be some of them would bang on the glass, and I thought they were going to break the glass, but that's all right. We love the rowdiness in Gaylord, so and it's not that far, Petoskey to Gaylord, so that also helped too. But the community for sure, wherever we play, I think you and I will give back, and I think that hockey and then at the end of the day, like, you feel good about it. You don't
Yeah.
feel like it's a job anymore. You just feel like
Mm.
you're just being yourself. Like I think some pro players we look at, like they go through what their agent says or whatever, and I think you and I pretty much just go through, this is who we are. Like, you know, we're
Yeah.
just gonna be low key, chill, and have fun and meet new people and enjoy the game that we love to play.
Yeah, exactly my thought, my process and everything. Just do whatever I can to give back to the game that's given me so much. And I love the game, and like it's been an awesome ride so far, and like I'm like can't wait for the years to come, and just to be able to do what I do for a living, and
Yep.
just to have fun, and that love of the games continuing to grow every single time I'm on the ice.
Exactly, exactly, man. That's what it's all about. You get back to that community because one day that, if we, let's say we don't have our league anymore, all those kids growing up, they're gonna be like, man, remember that semi-pro team, remember that kid Klaybor, or remember these guys, and I think that really means a lot because I was one of those kids where I knew a ton of guys that went to Notre Dame. And with my dad being there, I could name guys from 1998 and 2005. And he's like, how the heck do you remember those guys? And I'm like, it's just about how they were so nice. And I
The
remember they would
lifestyle
sign
now.
any, yeah, yeah. And it is, it's my lifestyle now. It's like, hey, like, yeah, you have a job, but you also play a pro hockey. Like there are people that want autographs and people that want pictures with you. And, I mean, it is tough. Like, the guys in the NHL, sometimes they have to turn people away, but because they do it on a constant basis where you and I probably just do it every weekend. But, I mean, it's something that I do enjoy. And I know the
Me
kids
too.
and families do for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Before we wrap this episode up, I got some questions for you that I post up on the Instagram, on the IG, and
Sure.
let's answer them before we get the show before we end the show. So the first
Yeah,
one
let's hear
is
it.
how do I get good style like you?
I get good style like me, man. I don't know. I mean, I'm I'm weird when it comes to goalie gear. So I I really don't like all white pads. My new set will be here soon, and I'll definitely send it to you to show your fan base there.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so no spoilers yet, no spoilers, but yeah, I kind of just put colors together. My brother's a huge help with that. He is like a design nut, so that's how I get the style. So
There we go. Love it. I can't wait for the for your new set to come in and like see what it looks like.
yep, and I will say it's the CCM eFlex 6 is what
There
I'll
we
be
go.
getting soon. So
There we go.
yes,
Can't wait to see that one. One last question for you is what are some tips you'd
yeah,
give younger players looking to get to that next level?
yeah. Focus in on the task at hand. Pretty much write down things that like you want to do every single game. There should be at least three things. Like for me, every time I always say stop the first shot. Second thing is track the rebound. Third thing is something that you want to work on, whether it's like a glove save, and then always at the end of that, put have fun. You always want to have fun during the game. If you're not having fun, then why are you out there? Um, also too, I was saying is just focus in at the same time, but don't let things get to you. Let things roll off. Another thing is don't change your routine. Stay on the same routine because once you change that routine, then you're going to contemplate thinking, oh, shoot, I forgot to do that because I've done that before. And a lot of goalies I've talked to have done that before where they're like, shoot, I forgot to do that in warmups. I hope my game doesn't, or whatever. But, and you don't let it get to you, like I just said. But at the same time, stick to that same routine. What I normally do is I just put on my headphones. I don't talk to anybody during the game day. Practice, I'll talk to them. But when it's game day and I'm starting, I'm locked in. I do not say anything to anybody. I think Jack, you've seen that. I really don't. I don't even talk to you. Like
No.
I didn't even. We're good friends, but no. When it's game time, I'm dialed in. I do not even talk to my head coach. I don't talk to anybody. I don't even like associate with the fans. It's really bad. But I mean, for me personally, I just know that that's how I focus and I get the job done. And I'm the same way when it comes to even work. Like if I want to get stuff done, I'm focused, locked in. But with that being said, yeah, listen to the same playlist. There's a couple songs I'll add, and I actually think about it. I'm like, all right, is this gonna really get me going, or is this gonna make me fall asleep before the game? And so with the same like preparation before the game, I do the same stretches over and over. Um, get drink the same bottle of water, do the same things, change the music before I put on when I put on the pads. I'll change one song to the other pad, change to another song. Kind of take my time in the way that I do that, and then after the game, I recover, and I think even the funniest thing that I'll do is that I'll actually be the last one out of the locker room, which is
And
interesting because normally goalies are always before, and um, my team, my teammates for the past 6 years, I know kind of hate that when I'm starting. They're like, "Oh my gosh, we got to wait for this guy." But like I said, it's part of your routine. It's part of who you. I wouldn't change a thing.
yeah, I'm the same. I'm the same way. I'm literally the last guy to leave. Like I'll literally be in the locker room for as long as it takes me to do my recovery, stretch, shower after, like put
Yep.
my like I'm not in a rush. Like I'm gonna take my time, and I'm always the last one out of the locker room, no matter what. But like
Oh yeah. I
those
mean,
are some great tips though, and like tips and advice. Like that's like I totally agree with you with the routine. Like definitely don't change that routine once you have it because you're gonna overthink if you don't do exactly everything you do, you're gonna overthink. Oh, am I gonna play bad now or stuff like that? So it's just good to keep that routine and everything like that.
yeah, exactly. I mean, and I'm like the last one out when right before the starting lineup gets announced too. Like that's the last one. I'm probably one of the middle of the pack coming in the rink, but that's I've always been sticking with the routine.
Yeah.
Last one to leave a locker room to go on the ice, and the team is waiting for you. And then always the last one to leave the locker room. I think my friends and family for the past couple of years now, they're like, they might as well just tell me to get a room at the rink and sleep there because that's how long I take. So, but again, it's just part of my routine. It's part of who I am, and um, I love the game so much. I sometimes I really don't want to leave the rink because it's a great night that I had
Yeah.
in net. So
Yeah, and I can attest to you not being able to talk to anyone on games that you start because I remember in Port, you backed up and we are talking to each other after the game, and you're like, if I'm starting tomorrow, don't take it personally, but I'm not gonna talk to you at all. Like, I'm not gonna look at you, like nothing. Like, and I'm like, I get it. Like that's your routine,
yeah,
and if you're like
and then
that,
you saw it.
and then I saw it and I was like,
Yeah,
yep,
and you saw it, and you're
that
like,
guy was not lying. I left you alone that game.
yeah, yeah. I appreciate. There's sometimes we're like, hey, like we'll talk, but like,
Yeah.
if it's funny. So yeah, whatever team I play for next year, I hope hope they're ready for that because I'll bring that to the table, and I think the team responds too with it. Like they're like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, like this
He
guy is
dialed.
this guy locked. Like it doesn't matter if the game's 2-0 like I said or 10-0. Like I'm focused in on the task at hand, and then that goes back to the routine. Like if you find something that you do, which mine is, I don't talk to anybody. I don't talk to the other team. Don't talk to the refs. Don't talk to my coaches, and it just makes me feel like you're doing a job. Like this is a job at hand. Like
Ready
because
for
if you don't do
war.
your job at the end of the night, yeah, exactly, man. Like yeah, but if you're not ready for game time, then I think you're playing the wrong sport. So
And you're gonna be out of job.
Yep, you're going to be without a job, and you're going to be sitting there with the ball cap on the bench and figuring out how can you get your job back? Because that's happened before to I think all of us, and
Yeah.
that's one of the biggest pet peeves. I don't know about you, but I cannot stand getting pulled. I'm kind of like
Me neither.
Vasilevsky. That's one of my favorite goalies I'll watch, and he can't stand getting pulled. And I'm the same way, man. It's not fun, but you have to sit there and know that it's a momentum change, just not your night, and get back to the next thing and stay stick with that routine and come back the next night.
So Daniel, thank you again for coming on the show. I really appreciate your time, and I want to wish you the best of luck wherever you end up next season. And I hope to play against you or with you potentially next season.
Yeah, man, I appreciate that. Thank you for having me on. It's been a pleasure explaining my experiences of playing hockey, and I wish you the best as well with your future here coming up. So hopefully, yeah, like you said, like we play against each other, it'll be a good battle, or we play in the same team and lead whatever team we play to the championship and get a ring for that franchise. And
Absolutely. That's the goal. The ring season.
yeah, ring season, yes, sir. So whoever we play with, I think they're they got two goaltenders that can compete. So that's the best part.
Absolutely.